Hello, 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 hello. It's Dina. One last thing for the Hope crew over haiku. Oh, bless you. What? Haiku. Bless you. An old joke from when we were kids. So, a last thing about haiku is that I told you that I had written a sequence of haiku and made a very long poem out of it. And so what I want to do finally with this haiku is read this one to you and let you have it in the description of the poem. You can read it there as well. But if you're as old as I am, you will remember a time when Spam, we're talking about the luncheon meat. Yes, I have written a poem about luncheon meat. You will remember a time when Spam came with a little key on top. You have to be probably particularly old. You kids aren't going to know what I'm talking about. But it had a little metal thing on top, and you would pop that off, and then you would put this edge of the can tab into this, and you would roll this key across the top of the can, and the top would open this way. So it had its own can opener built into it. And this was a really neat technique if you were traveling and you didn't have a can opener. There were no pull tabs in those days, children. I know, we were in the dark ages, yes. No pull tabs. And so what I did was I wrote a poem about Spam, but if you don't understand that it used to work this way, you're not going to get it. I wrote this poem back in the 1980s, a very, very long time ago. So, and it was old at that time. They had just taken it off the market, probably at about this time with the key in the 70s. So the poem is called Spam Song Number 1. I never wrote a number 2. And so you'll see that each one of these stanzas is actually a haiku. So I just have a whole lot of haiku strung together to create a very long poem. So I wanted to show you how that could be done. That writing teacher in me feels like I want to show you. You can do more with haiku than just, 575. You can do 575, 575, 575, 575. Something else about a haiku, though I didn't mention before, is that if you want to have a sense of loss, if you want a feeling of a line to have a sense of loss, you will put one less syllable in that line. If you want your line, if you're talking about something that has a great sense of maybe heaviness or overwhelmingness or confusion, maybe you put an extra syllable in that line. And that's just something that the reader will feel when they come and they read your haiku, and then they count it and they say, no, she or he used an extra one there. They're doing something interesting. Oh, let me see what they're talking about in that line, right? Then you bring attention to the line because you're breaking the expectation, and that's part of what poetry is about. Okay, so Spam Song Number 1. She reels in shock at the unopened can of Spam. The key is missing. A ring tab? She craves the meat, but this is almost too much betrayal. She sits in utter despair of the eco-change, reminiscingly. The first time she'd bled from the tinwound, it had been while cooking for him. And now both were gone. Another key incident, the broken nibbed end. Yet, for all of the pain, frustration, furying effort of the key, she verged on sobbing as better memories came oozing over her. Holding tension fast, the clockwork spring tightening around careful key, the birthday present feel, pulling key from plastic, searching for the notch. Finding protruding metal, you'd slip the sharp edge straight into the hole. Only now she sees the irony. The keyhole was the key itself. You would turn slowly at first, lining up rolling edge with rolling edge. But then the winding takes hold, a sure opening, mission in progress. The slow and steady work for food, solid labor enriches eating. But now, the ring tab makes her think of pet food cans. No labor, no love. She negotiates, frowns, and pops the lid, ripping in one smooth motion. She eats the sandwich. Fortunately, she thinks, it fries up just the same. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hearing a little bit more about haiku. If you haven't done a haiku challenge yet, go ahead and do one. Put haiku challenge or weekly poetry challenge hashtag. Tag me on it. I'll come read it, see what you're doing. The second poetry challenge has already been released tonight, and that was an acrostic challenge. So go check that out and see if you can do an acrostic. Shall I put it here? Take care. Have a great couple of days till I see you next. Have a great week before the next poetry challenge. Questions, comments, wild screams of protest, leave them in the comments. As always, take care. Be free.